There is a very specific niche of content that somehow went mainstream in 2026. It was a community that was not really acknowledged by the wider spaces, and now that it's front and center, it doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. And it all started with one guy trying to promote the idea of becoming the ideal version of yourself and giving up on all of your material interests, in favor of pushing your own appearance to the absolute limit. But the internet did what it does best, and it took this whole community's message and flipped it inside out and turned everyone involved into almost a walking punchline. And it all starts with the face of this community, Clavicular. Now, if it wasn't obvious, I'm talking about the looks maxing community, something which really went viral in February of this year, all stemming from a clip of Clavicular himself. Now, in the space of just over a month, this guy went from being the authority on looks maxing to getting mogged at his own game at an ASU frat event, to crashing out about jesters on his own livestream.
All the vernacular that you guys have seen go viral on Twitter is not actually looks max terminology. It's just random dumb shit that people put. Jester goon, like that's not actually a thing.
And now he's found himself being arrested for his involvement in an assault. And in the middle of all of this, he still found the time to get called out for shooting at alligators in a Florida swamp. This guy has been on a generational run this year. Now, in order to understand Clavicular's content and ideology, you have to look at his philosophy as a whole.
Every single trait of yours is going to be perceived differently according to your looks level, right? If you're super caged in and shy, but you're good looking, that will be perceived a lot different rather than if you were an acne-ridden, balding jester.
To him, his physical appearance is everything. It's not important, it's not a factor of what makes you who you are, it's literally everything. Personality and charisma do not matter. The goal in life, according to Clavicular, is to enter a room and have everybody notice you as the quote-unquote dominant person there. It's this really weird new approach to social dynamics where if you focus on your face and your frame enough, the rest of your life will just sort of work it out in your favor. And to be fair, this content has really started to do numbers recently because it attracts that genre of person that seeks control. It tells you that this is the system to follow if you want to win at life. But Clavicular's problem is that when you build your entire image around such a rigid idea that it doesn't leave any room for reality and definitely no room for slip-ups or mistakes. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the ASU frame mog incident was kind of the moment that brought Clavicular and his community into the mainstream, but for him, it's also the moment that sort of shattered his identity. We've all seen the clip, he's standing there at this event, and then this guy comes and stands next to him, and in that moment, without any editing or cuts or narrative, his image just shatters. He gets frame mogged by this guy. Now, if you don't know what frame mogging is, it essentially boils down to this guy just looking better than him. And when your entire brand is built around looking incredible and being the best looking guy, to have someone stood next to you that just beats you in your own category completely dethrones you as the face of looks maxing. And within hours of this clip going viral, the internet had already made its mind up. This guy got frame mogged. That one clip did more damage to his looks maxing brand than 100,000 hate videos could ever dream of doing, because it's right there in front of you. It's a direct contradiction to his preaching. He was supposed to be the example, but now he finds himself as the counter example. I realize I make this sound so dramatic, but you just gotta kind of hear me out here. I'm doing it for the effect, but I really think it also sells who Clavicular is if I treat this with a bit of theatre, you know what I mean? But it was after this that things really started to mutate, because once that one clip has gone viral, it stopped being about him and it started being about the content you can get from him. People started reposting it, remixing it, memeing it, quoting it, referencing it. This clip was everywhere. And you want to talk about me being a slop channel, this was like industrial factory grade slop being churned out by 100 different accounts all the time. And you know what? I kind of respect it. I've seen all this going down and I've decided it's my turn to make some slop about this. This is going to be way better than the pyrocynical reaction videos. This is going to be my own personal grade A prime cut slop.
I'm going to use this video to address the allegations made against me. Recently, to those who are unaware, I've been accused of
Gesture.
But this is just the landscape now. Everything has become clipped and exaggerated and repackaged by these other accounts, and now the original context doesn't even really matter anymore. Clavicular isn't a person anymore, he's just a piece of content, he's something to farm. And this is where his jester arc kind of begins. You see, while he was live streaming in Miami, people started noticing that Clavicular was dressing in these like weird gold suits and acting like a clown for attention, and this flew in the face of what he'd been preaching. It wasn't his looks coming first anymore. Now people was saying he was acting over the top to get more eyes on him, and his chat dubbed this jester maxing, basically saying that he was doing all of this as a performance to get more eyes on him in the nightclubs and while he was out partying. But Clav didn't like this new branding, and he started going on these rants in his live streams talking about too many jesters, people acting like clowns for attention, and rewarding quote-unquote low status behavior.
I don't get it. Do I look like a fucking jester? You know, just an entertainer, a tap dancer, like a background character? It's like, I'm not gonna sit here and do a fucking activity, okay? If it's not you, then I'm fucking hanging up.
But you can hear it in his tone. This isn't just criticism, this was frustration. Because from his perspective, the whole system he's built up is breaking down in front of him. He optimized for looks, but now people were only focusing on his behavior. They even started referring to it as jester gooning to really pile onto him how silly he was being. And that's where the irony in all of this comes from, because while he's complaining and ranting about all these jesters, his own live stream clips are starting to look like him doing exactly that.
No.
Do you want me to peel it off?
No. Yes.
Gatekeeping the body count you ASU looking.
His over-the-top club videos, his weird behavior, his big reactions, they're all the things that his chat were calling jester gooning and the things he was complaining about. He was becoming the very thing he claimed to hate, a jester.
It was said that you would destroy them,
Jesters.
not join them. I hate you.
And you can kind of see this shift in his attitude happening in real time. His tone starts changing and his energy spikes all over the place. I mean, when you watch some of these rants, you can literally watch his cortisol levels fly off the charts in real time. You can see it in his face. And that's when you really know it's over for him. Not his career, but his image, his control over how he's perceived. This guy basically went from being the most dominant guy in a room to suddenly being the silliest. You just have to look at some of the irony-filled posts about him. I repost all of these because they're just so funny to me. Like the words like ice cream maxing, happy maxing, they're hilarious to me, but I know to someone like Clavicular they must drive him insane. But just when it looked like it couldn't get any worse for the guy, he then finds himself getting arrested in Florida for battery and conspiracy to commit battery. This is when this kind of stops being internet drama and spills over into real life stuff, because he was actually arrested for instigating a fight between his girlfriend and another woman just for some live stream content. I mean, if that doesn't sum up the social media landscape in 2026, I don't know what does. But this is just kind of the logical extreme of his ideology. If attention is everything and content is everything, then eventually you're just going to push that line too far and get slapped with some very real life consequences. I mean, this isn't even the first time this guy's been in legal trouble. In December of last year, he actually tried to hit someone he claimed had been stalking him with his car, which is just insane. But anyway, after the news broke that he'd been arrested, people on the internet just started making up their own reasons why it happened. There was a clip of him shooting at alligators in a Florida swamp, and people started running this narrative that he'd been actually arrested for endangering wildlife or something, for emptying an entire Glock mag into a swamp.
You play action completely. Oh, what the fuck? Holy shit, that scared me. Damn crocodile snuck up on me.
And just to clarify, he was not arrested for this. There's been no charges about wildlife brought against him, but it just fits the narrative so well for a big streamer crashing out to have them arrested for something as insane as this. And you gotta admit, Clavicular arrested for shooting an alligator is a way better title than Clavicular arrested for conspiracy to commit battery. But when you zoom out and look at the whole timeline of this, you've got a guy who built his brand around control and aesthetics, losing at his own game to a random stranger, and then beginning a month-long crash out that essentially ends with him in jail. Clavicular didn't just get frame mobbed by the ASU frat leader, he got frame mobbed by the internet itself. But what do you guys think? Do you think he's going to be able to come back from this, or do you think, like every famous influencer ever, he's somehow going to avoid any real consequences for this? Leave your comments down below and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you when I'm back slop maxing about another random internet topic in about 4 days time.